中さん、陽子さん。
びっくりした。
何やってんの？
今の顔面白かったよ。
どかさないでよ。
もう2時過ぎてんだよ。だって。
仕事終わるまで帰れません。
もう帰ろうよ。
じゃあさ、ちょっと静かにしててくれない？そうしないと仕事終わらないんだけど。
で、5分？
仕事終わるまで。
早くしてよ、じゃあ。
だから、相談したんなら早く静かにしてください。
うわ、すごいね。これ散らかっちゃって。
何も触らないでね。
あれ？うわぁ。姉ちゃんまだこの写真持ってたんだ。
触らないでって言ったじゃん。
ねえ、昔さ、いっつも同じ服着てたじゃない？で、私子供の頃から大きかったじゃん。だからよく双子に間違えられたよね。
ちょっと5分静かにしてるって言ってなかったっけ？
なんかさ、よくいじめっ子にさ、私がいじめられた時にさ、泣きながら帰ってきたらお姉ちゃんが怒って、
静かにしてって言ったの聞こえてないの？
でさ、同じ服でさ、その子のとこ行ってさ、やっつけて帰ってきてくれたよね。
ねえ、静かにしてくれないと帰れないんだけど。
懐かしいよね。
おかしいとかじゃないでしょ。
みんなだって友達とかさ、双子だと間違ってるからさ、どっちが
誰もそんなこと言ってないよ。間違
っ
ってなんかないでしょ。
だってお姉ちゃんよくいじめっ子やっつけてくれたじゃん。
静かにしてって言ったじゃん。いいよ、そんなに帰りたいなら帰ろう。何？どうしたの？何やってんの？早く帰ろうよ。帰りたいって言ったじゃん。どうしちゃったの？ねえ。
push me over. 90 miles and 153 degrees, I replied. Gad, but we've knocked that 30-mile crust theory into a cock. Hat, he cried gleefully. Precious lot of good it will do us, I growled back. But my boy, he continued, doesn't that temperature reading mean anything to you? Why, it hasn't gone up in 6 miles. Think of it, son. Yes, I'm thinking of it, I answered, but what difference will it make when our air supply is exhausted whether the temperature is 153 degrees or 153,000? We'll be just as dead and no one will know the difference anyhow. But I must admit that for some unaccountable reason the stationary temperature did renew my waning hope. What I hoped for I could not have explained, nor did I try. The very fact, as Terry took pains to explain, of the blasting of several very exact and learned scientific hypotheses made it apparent that we could not know what lay before us within the bowels of the earth, and so we might continue to hope for the best, at least until we were dead when hope would no longer be essential to our happiness. It was very good and logical reasoning, and so I embraced it. At 100 miles the temperature had dropped to 152 degrees. When I announced it, Perry reached over and hugged me. From then on until noon of the second day, it continued to drop until it became as uncomfortably cold as it had been unbearably hot before. At the depth of 240 miles, our nostrils were assailed by almost overpowering ammonia fumes, and the temperature had dropped to TEMPELOWZERO. We suffered nearly 2 hours of this intense and bitter cold until at about 245 miles from the surface of the Earth we entered a stratum of solid ice, when the mercury quickly rose to 32 degrees. During the next 3 hours we passed through 10 miles of ice, eventually merging into another series of ammonia-impregnated strata where the mercury again fell to 10 degrees below zero. Slowly it rose once more until we were convinced that at last we were nearing the molten interior of the Earth. At 400 miles the temperature had reached 153 degrees. Feverishly I watched the thermometer. Slowly it rose. Perry had ceased singing and was at last praying. Our hopes had received such a deep blow that the gradually increasing heat seemed to our distorted imaginations much greater than it really was. For another hour I saw that pitiless column of mercury rise until at 410 miles it stood at 153 degrees. Now, it was that we began to hang upon those readings in almost breathless anxiety. 153 degrees had been the maximum temperature above the ice stratum. Would it stop at this point again, or would it continue its merciless climb? We knew that there was no hope, and yet, with the persistence of life itself, we continued to hope against practical certainty. Already the air tanks were at low ebb. There was barely enough of the precious gases to sustain us for another 12 hours. But would we be alive to know or care? It seemed incredible. At 420 miles I took another reading. Terry, I shouted. Terry, man, she's going down. She's going down. She's 152 degrees again. Dad, he cried. What can it be? Can the Earth be cold at the center? I do not know, Perry, I answered, but thank God if I am to die it shall not be by fire. That is all that I have feared. I can face the thought of any death but that. Down went the mercury until it stood as low as it had 7 miles from the surface of the Earth, and then of a sudden the realization broke upon us that death was very near. Perry was the first to discover it. I saw him fussing with the valves that regulate the air supply. and at the same time I experienced difficulty in breathing. My head felt dizzy, my limbs heavy. I saw Terry crumple in his seat. He gave himself a shake and sat erect. Again. Then he turned toward me. "Goodbye, David," he said. "I guess this is the end," and then he smiled and closed his eyes. "Goodbye, Terry, and good luck to you," I answered, smiling back at him. But I fought off that awful lethargy. I was very young, I did not want to die. For an hour I battled against the cruelly enveloping death that surrounded me on all sides. At first I found that by climbing high into the framework above me I could find more of the precious, life-giving elements, and for a while these sustained me. It must have been an hour after Perry had succumbed that I at last came to the realization that I could no longer carry on this unequal struggle against the inevitable.
I still can't see the end. Echo! Echo! I can't tell if it's getting smaller or not. Okay. Okay, I think I can see the end. There's a hatch. You think the hatch is locked? Okay, on we go. There's a big hose. Okay, I see the end.
found me lost and then she showed me the way. Albuquerque, I'm there, desert roads. Each day I'm gone, how the mystery grows. Felt like rain in Nashville, Tennessee. Pleasure was pain on the hill in D.C. To say the least in Chicago. Stalked like a beast in San Francisco.
Spacewalk out of the shuttle. That's where you get out into the payload bay. Here we are making our way up into what's called the PMA. tight clearances in some of these areas. That's probably the tightest one right there. Okay, and we emerge into the node 1. Now, first we're going to look down. We're going to look down into the MPLM. Now, MPLM work is kind of underway. And one thing I find quickly is you have to orient yourself in each module. So down to me in this module is like this. This is down. And the reason we call this down is because when we land, it's going to be this side that faces Earth. So when we think about how we pack things, especially water, we pack it so that it'll be lying on something flat when we come back, and we don't pack it on something sharp so that when we come back into the atmosphere and we get back into a gravitational field, it falls onto something sharp and pops. Now we're going to turn you around. Take a look back. We'll head out of the MPLM now. And now we'll hang a right turn. But what we have to do is orient ourselves to down in the space station, which is this way. So that's the direction we were initially facing when we came into space station, but we're not going to go that way yet because there's a couple.
Both my eyes, I see alien scenery. How did I stray so far away from the paradise I seek? Siren song flows and blindly knows to seek its course. The heavens dark, I must believe in the northern star.
I'll take a good war anytime in preference to this. You don't know what you're talking about. You aren't so young that you can't remember what it was like in the old days. Everybody living in fear, waiting for the bombs to fall. People dying of disease, and worried about dying from radiation and fallout. All the international rivalries, the power politics, the eternal pressures and constant crises. Nobody in his right mind would want to go back to. Underline that underline. We've come a mighty long way in the last 20 years or so. I switched to autopilot and sat back. Maybe that's the trouble, he said. Maybe we've come too far, too fast. I wasn't kidding about dropping those thermal nuts either. Underline something underline has to be done. We can't go on like this indefinitely. Why doesn't the board come up with an answer? Fraser shrugged his heavy shoulders. You think we haven't tried, aren't trying now? We're aware of the situation as well as you are, and then some. But there's no easy solution. The population just keeps growing, that's all. Nowhere to cut it down. Contagious diseases. At a minimum, average life expectancy up to 90 years or better. Naturally, this results in a problem. But a bomb won't help bring about any permanent solution. Besides, this isn't a local matter or even a national one. It's global. What do you think those summit meetings are all about? What about birth control? I asked. Why don't they really get behind an immigration movement? We can't limit procreation by law. You know that. Fraser peered out at the swarming streams on the sidewalk levels. It's more than a religious or a political question, it's a social one. People want kids. They can afford them. Besides, the Housing Act is set up so that having kids is just about the only way you can ever get into larger living quarters. Couldn't they try reverse psychology? I mean, grant priority to people who are willing to be sterilized. They tried it on a limited experimental scale about 3 years ago, out on the West Coast. I never heard anything about it. Damn right you didn't, Fraser replied, grimly. They kept the whole project under wraps, and for a good reason. The publicity might have wrecked the administration. What happened? What do you suppose happened? There were riots. Do you think a man and his wife and 3 kids living in 3 rooms liked the idea of standing by and watching a sterilized couple enjoy a 4-room place with lawn space? Things got pretty ugly, let me tell you. There was a rumor going around that the country was in the hands of homosexuals. The churches were up in arms, and if that wasn't bad enough, we had to face up to the primary problem. There just isn't enough space not in areas suitable for maintaining a population. Mountains are still mountains and deserts are still deserts. Maybe we can put up housing in such regions, but who can live there? Even with decentralization going full blast, people must live within reasonable access to their work. No, we're just running out of room. Again the car halted on signal. Over the blasting of the horns, I repeated his query about immigration. Fraser shook his head, but made no attempt to reply until the horns had quieted and they were underway once more. As for immigration, we're just getting some of our own medicine in his return. About 80 years ago, we clamped down and closed the door on immigrants, established a quota. Now the same quota is being used against us, and you can't really blame other nations for it. They're facing worse population increases than we are. Look at the African Federation and what's happened there in spite of all the wealth. And South America is even worse in spite of all the reclamation projects. 15 years ago, when they cleared out the Amazon basin, they thought they'd have enough room for 50 years to come. And now look at it, 200 million. That's the latest figure we've got. So what's the answer? I asked. I don't know. If it wasn't for hydroponics and the agriculture controls, we'd be licked right now. As it is, we can still supply enough food, and the old supply and demand takes care of the economy as a whole. I have no recommendations for an overall solution, or even a regional one. My job, the board's job, is regulating housing and traffic and transportation in Chicagee. That's about all you can expect us to handle. Again they jolted to a stop and the horns howled all around them. I sat there until a muscle in the side of his jaw began to twitch. Suddenly he pounded on the horn with both fists. "Shut up," he yelled. "For the love of heaven, shut up." Abruptly he slumped back. "Sorry," he mumbled. "It's my damned headache. I've got to get out of this. Job getting you down?" "No, it's a good job. At least everybody tells me so. 25 hours a week, $300. The car, the room, the telescreen, and liquor and yellow jackets. Plenty of time to kill, unless it's the time that's killing me. But what do you want underline?" I stepped on the accelerator and they inched along. Now the street widened into 8 traffic lanes and the big Semis joined the procession on the edge of the downtown area. "I want out," I said. "Out of this." "Don't you ever visit the national preserves?" Fraser asked. Sure I do. Fly up every vacation. Take a tame plane to a tame government resort and catch my quota of 2 tame fish. Great sport. If I got married, I'd be entitled to 4 tame fish. But that's not what I want. I want what my father used to talk about. I want to drive into the country without a permit, mind you, just to drive wherever I like. I want to see cows and chickens and trees and lakes and sky. You sound like a naturalist. Don't sneer. Maybe the naturalists are right. Maybe we ought to cut out all this phony, progressive phony piece that passes all understanding. I'm no liberal, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I think the naturalists have the only answer. But what can you do about it? Fraser murmured. Suppose for the sake of argument that they are underlined right. How can we change things? We can't just underline, we'll underline ourselves to stop growing, and we can't legislate against biology. More people in better health with more free time are just bound to have more offspring. It's inevitable under the circumstances, and neither you nor I nor anyone has the right to condemn millions upon millions of others to death through war or disease. I know, I said. It's hopeless, I guess. All the same, I want out. He wet his lips. Fraser, you're on the board here. You've got connections higher up. If I could only get a chance to transfer to agriculture, go on one of those farms as a worker. Fraser shook his head. Sorry, you know the situation there, I'm sure. Right now there's roughly 90 million approved applications on file. Everybody wants to get into agriculture. But couldn't I just buy some land? The worst thing for I was the thought of all those people, the forced bodily contact, the awareness of smothered breathing odors, and the crushing confinement of flesh against flesh. It was bad enough. In the lines or on the streets, the commutation was just too much. Yet, as a small boy, I could remember the day when he loved such trips. Sitting there looking out of the window as the scenery whirled past, that was always a thrill when you were a little kid. How long ago had that been? More than 20 years, wasn't it? Now there were many seats and no windows, which was just as well, probably, because the scenery didn't whirl past anymore either. Instead, there was a stop at every station on the line and a constant. That was people jockeyed for position to reach the exit doors inches time. No, the car was better. I reached for a container in the cabinet and poured out a couple of aspirins. That ought to help the headache. At least until he got to the office. Then he could start with a daily quota of yellow jackets. Meanwhile, getting out on the street might help him, too. A shame there wasn't a window in this apartment, but then what good would it do, really? All he could see through it would be the next apartment. He shrugged and picked up his coat. 9:30, time to go downstairs. Maybe the car would be located sooner than Bill had promised. After all, he had 9 assistants, and not everybody went to work on this first daylight shift. I walked down the hall and punched the elevator button. He looked at the indicator, watched the red van move towards the numeral of this floor, then sweep past it. Full up, he muttered. Oh, well. He reached out and touched both sides of the corridor. That was another thing he disliked, these narrow corridors. 2 people could scarcely squeeze past one another without touching. Of course it did save space to build apartments this way, and space was at a premium. But I couldn't get used to it. Now he remembered some of the old buildings that were still around when he was a little boy. The headache seemed to be getting worse instead of better. I looked at the indicator above the other elevator entrance. The red van was crawling upward, passing him to stop on 48. That was the top floor. Now it was moving down, stopping on 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, and here it was. Stand back, please, said the tape. I did his best to oblige, but there wasn't much room. A good 24 of his upstairs neighbors jammed the compartment. I thought he recognized 1 or 2 of the men, but he couldn't be sure. There were so many people, so many faces. After a while it got so they all seemed to look alike. Yes, and breathed alike, and felt alike when you were squeezed up against them, and you were always being squeezed up against them wherever you went. And you could smell them and hear them wheeze and cough, and you went falling down with them into a bottomless pit where your head began to throb, and it was hard to move away from all that heat and pressure. It was hard enough just to keep from screaming. Then the door opened and I was catapulted out into the lobby. The mob behind him pushed and clawed because they were in a hurry. They were always in a hurry these days, and if you got in their way they'd trample you down like that old man had been trampled down. There was no room for one man in a crowd anymore. I blinked and shook his head. He gripped the edge of the wall and clung there in an effort to avoid being swept out of the lobby completely. His hands were sticky with perspiration. They slipped off as he slowly inched his way back through the crush of the mob. Wait for me, he called. Wait for me, I'm going down. But his voice was lost in the maelstrom of sound just as his body was lost in the maelstrom of motion. Besides, an automatic elevator cannot hear. It is merely a mechanism that goes up and down, just like the other mechanisms that go in and out, or around and around, and you get caught up in them the way a squirrel gets caught in a squirrel cage. And you race, and the best you can hope for is to keep up with the machinery. The elevator door clanged shut before I could reach it. He waited for another car to arrive, and this time he stood aside as the crowd emerged, then darted in behind them. The car descended to the first garage level, and I stood gulping gratefully in the comparative isolation. There weren't more than 10 people accompanying him. He emerged on the ramp, gave his number to the attendant, and waved at Bill in his office. Bill seemed to recognize him, at least he nodded briefly. No sense trying to talk, not in this sullen subterranea, filled with a booming echo of exhausts, the despairing shriek of brakes. Headlights flickered in the darkness as cars whirled past, ascending and descending on the loading platforms. The signal systems winked from the walls, and tires screeched defiance to the warning bells. Old-fashioned theologians, I remember, used to argue whether there really was a hell, and if so, had it been created by God or the devil? Too bad they weren't around today to get an answer to their questions. Their underline was underline a hell, and it had been created by General Motors. I''S temples began to throb. Through blurred eyes, he saw the attendant beckoning him down the line to a platform marked underline checkout. Number 3 underline. He stood there with a cluster of others waiting.
through open eyes. I'm looking at the sun on the run. In a moment's time, you wonder why it all came undone. rather do. DJ, 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 I wanna come out. Still I can't believe it. Still I can't believe it. Still I can't believe it. Still I can't believe it.
Hello, this is Act 5, Scene 2, the final scene of Othello. My name's Kathy Williams DeVries, with a graduate diploma in Shakespeare Studies. This is the last scene of the play where Othello kills Desdemona and dies himself. So here Othello has a light and reveals Desdemona who's sleeping in her bed. And this is quite a famous speech by Othello. It is the cause, my soul. Let me not name it to you, you chaste stars. It is the cause. Yet I'll not shed her blood, nor scar that whiter skin of hers than snow, and smooth as monumental alabaster. Yet she must die. She'll betray more men. Put out the light, then put out the light. This is comparing the light of Othello's lamp to Desdemona's light of life. If I quench thee, thou flaming minister, I can again thy former light restore. So by killing her, he can make her innocent again. should I repent me, but once put out thy light, thou cunningest pattern of excelling nature, I know not where is that Promethean heat that can thy light relume. When I have plucked thy rose, I cannot give it vital growth again. It needs must wither. I'll smell thee on the tree. And then he kisses her. O balmy breath that dost almost persuade justice to break her sword. One more, be thus when thou art dead, and I will kill thee and love thee after. One more, and that's the last. Kisses her again. So sweet was ne'er so fatal, I must weep, for they are cruel tears. This sorrow is heavenly, it strikes where it doth love. She wakes. There's actually a passage here from Hebrews 12, verse 6. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth. So who the Lord love, he makes chaste. Who's there? Othello. I, Desdemona. Will you come to bed, my lord? Have you prayed tonight, Desdemon? I, my lord. If you bethink yourself of any crime unreconciled as yet to heaven and grace, solicit for it straight. Alack, my lord, what may you mean by that? Well, do it, and be brief. I will walk by. I will not kill thy unprepared spirit. No, heavens forfend, I will not kill thy soul. So he doesn't want to kill her before she's said her prayers and confessed the sin of adultery, which Othello believes she's done. Talk you of killing, says Desdemona. Aye, I do. Then heaven have mercy on me. Amen with all my heart. If you say so, I hope you will not kill me. Hum. And yet I fear you, for you're fatal then when your eyes roll so. Why I should fear, I know not, since guiltiness I know not, yet I feel I fear. Othello says, think on thy sins. They are loves I bear to you, aye, and for that thou diest. That death's unnatural that kills for loving, alas, why gnaw you so on your nether lip? Some bloody passion shakes your very frame. These are portents, but yet I hope they do not point at me. Peace and be still. I also, what's the matter? That handkerchief, which I so loved and gave thee, thou gavest to Cassio. No, by my life and soul, send for the man and ask him. Sweet soul, take heed of perjury, thou art on thy deathbed. Ay, but not yet to die. Presently, therefore confess thee freely of thy sin, for to deny each article with oath cannot remove nor choke the strong conception that I do groan withal. Thou art to die. Cannot stop the strong conviction I have in your guilt, which makes me groan so. Then Lord have mercy on me, I say amen. And have you mercy too. I never did offend you in my life, never loved Cassio, but with such general warranty of heaven as I might love. I never gave him token. By heaven, I saw my handkerchief in his hand. O perjured woman, thou dost stone my heart and make me call what I intend to do. A murder which I thought a sacrifice. I saw the handkerchief. He found it then, I never gave it him. Send for him hither, let him confess the truth. He hath confessed. What, my lord, that he has used thee? How, unlawfully? Aye, he will not say so. No, his mouth is stopped. Honest Iago has ta'en order for it. Desdemona says, Oh, my fear interprets. What, is he dead? Had all his hairs been lived, my great revenge has stomach for them all. He still wants to kill him. Alas, he is betrayed and I undone. Out, strumpet! Weepest thou for him to my face? O banish me, my lord, but kill me not. Othello attacks her. Down, strumpet! Kill me tomorrow, let me live tonight. Nay, an you strive, but half an hour. Being done, there is no pause. Now that he's started, there's no stopping. Desdemona, but while I say one prayer, it is too late. Then he smothers her. O Lord, Lord, Lord! Amelia comes at the door. My lord, what ho, my lord, my lord! What noise is this? Not dead? Not yet quite dead? I that am cruel am yet merciful. I would not have thee linger in thy pain, so. Amelia within, what ho, my lord, who's there? "O good my lord, I would speak a word with you." "Yes, 'tis Amelia. By and by, she's dead. 'Tis like she comes to speak of Cassio's death. The noise was high. Ha! No more moving, still as the grave. Shall she come in? Were it good? I think she stirs again. No, what best to do? If she come in, she'll sure speak to my wife. My wife, what wife? I have no wife. O insupportable, O heavy hour, methinks it should now a huge eclipse of sun and moon, and the affrighted globe should yawn at alteration. Here it means should gape at the chains. Earthquakes are associated with eclipses. Methinks it should now a huge eclipse of sun and moon, and that the affrighted globe should yawn at alteration. So he's saying that it's like a huge eclipse which causes the earth to quake. Amelia is still within. "I do beseech you that I may speak with you. O good my lord, I had forgot thee. O come in, Amelia. Soft, by and by, let me the curtains draw." He closes the bed curtain. "Where art thou?" He opens the door and enters Amelia. "What's the matter with thee now? O my good lord, yonder's foul murder's done. What now?" "But now, my lord, it is the very error of the moon. She comes more nearer earth than she was wont, and makes men mad. Cassio, my lord, hath killed a young Venetian called Roderigo." "Roderigo killed and Cassio killed?" "No, Cassio is not killed." "Not Cassio killed? Then murder's out of tune." And sweet revenge grows harsh. "Oh, falsely, falsely murdered." And that was Desdemona. "Oh Lord, what cry is that? That? What? Out and alas, that was my lady's voice." And she opens the bed curtains. "Help, help, ho, help! O lady, speak again, sweet Desdemona. O sweet mistress, speak." Desdemona says, "A guiltless death I die." "Oh, who hath done this deed?" Desdemona says, "Nobody, I myself. Farewell. Commend me to my kind lord. Oh, farewell." And then she dies. "Why, how should she be murdered? Alas, who knows? You heard her say herself it was not I. She said so. I must need report the truth." "She's like a liar gone to burning hell. 'Twas I that killed her. Oh, the more angel she, and you the blacker devil. She turned to folly, and she was a whore. Thou dost belie her, and thou art a devil. She was false as water. Thou art rash as fire to say that she was false. Oh, she was heavenly true." Othello says, "Cassio did top her. Ask thy husband else, or I would damn beneath all depth in hell. But that I did proceed upon just grounds to this extremity. Thy husband knows it all." "My husband? Thy husband? That she was false to wedlock? I with Cassio, had she been true, if heaven would make me such another world of one entire and perfect chrysolite, I wouldn't have sold her for it. My husband? Aye, 'twas he that told me on her first. An honest man he is, and hates the slime that sticks on filthy deeds. My husband? What needs this iterance, woman? I say thy husband. O mistress, villainy hath made mocks with love. My husband said she was false? He, woman, I say thy husband, dost understand the word? My friend, thy husband, honest, honest Iago. And Amelia says, if he say so, may his pernicious soul rot half a grain a day. He lies in the heart. She was too fond of her most filthy bargain. Huh? Do thy worst. This deed of thine is no more worthy heaven than thou wast worthy her. Othello says, peace, you are best. Amelia says, thou hast not half that power to do me harm as I have to be hurt. O gull, O dolt, as ignorant as dirt, thou hast done a deed. I care not for thy sword, I'll make thee known, though I lost 20 lives. Help, help, ho, help! The Moor has killed my mistress. Murder, murder! Then Montano, Graziano, and Iago come in. What is the matter? How now, General? Oh, are you come, Iago, says Amelia. You have done well, that men must lay their murders on your neck. What is the matter? Amelia says to Iago, disprove this villain if thou beest a man. He says thou toldst him that his wife was false. I know thou didst not. Thou art not such a villain. Speak, for my heart is full. Oh, he's about to get busted. Iago said, I told him what I thought and told no more than what he found himself was apt and true. But did you ever tell him she was false? I did. You told a lie, an odious damned lie, upon my soul, a lie, a wicked lie. She false with Cassio? Did you say with Cassio? With Cassio, mistress. Go to, charm your tongue. Silence your tongue. I will not charm my tongue. I am bound to speak. Montano and Graziano. Oh heavens, forfend. Then Amelia to Iago. And your reports have set the murder on. Othello says, Nay, stand up, masters, it is true indeed. 'Tis a strange truth, O monstrous act. Villainy, 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 I think upon it, I smell it, O villainy. I thought so then, I'll kill myself for grief. O villainy, villainy. Iago says, What, are you mad? I'll charge you, get you home. Amelia says, Good gentleman, let me have leave to speak. 'Tis proper I obey him, but not now. Perchance, Iago, I will ne'er go home. Othello says, Oh, 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 and falls on the bed. Amelia says, Nay, lay thee down and roar, for thou hast killed the sweetest innocent that e'er did lift up eye. Oh, she was foul. To Graziano, I scarce did know you, uncle. There lies your niece, whose breath indeed these hands have newly stopped. I know this act shows horrible and grim. Graziano says, Poor Desdemon, I am glad thy father's dead. Thy match was mortal to him, and pure grief shore his old thread in twain. Did he live now, this sight would make him do a desperate turn, yet curse his better angel from his side, and fails to fall to reprobance. If he wasn't already dead, he'd commit suicide. 'Tis pitiful, but yet Iago knows that she with Cassio hath the act of shame 1,000 times committed. Cassio confessed it, and she did gratify his amorous works with that recognizance and pledge of love which I first gave her. I saw it in his hand. It was a handkerchief, an antique token that my father gave my mother. Amelia says, O God, O heavenly God. Iago says, Wounds, hold your peace. Amelia says, Twill out, I peace. No, I will speak as liberal as the north. Let heaven, men and devils, let them all cry shame against me, yet I'll speak. Iago says, Be wise and get you home. I will not. And then Iago draws his sword. Graziano says, Fie, your sword upon a woman. And Amelia says, O thou dull Moor, that handkerchief thou speaks of, I found by fortune, and did give my husband, for often, with a solemn earnestness, more than indeed belonged to such a trifle, he begged of me to steal it. Iago's busted. Villainous whore. She gave it Cassio? No, alas, I found it, and I did give it my husband. Filth, thou liest. By heaven, I do not, gentlemen. O murderous coxcomb, why should such a fool do with so good a wife? Othello says, Are there no stones in heaven but what serves for thunder? Precious villain. The Moor runs at Iago and is disarmed by Montano. Iago wounds his wife. The woman falls, sure he has killed his wife. Amelia says, Aye, oh lay me by my mistress's side. And then Iago exits. He's gone, but his wife's killed. 'Tis a notorious villain. Take you this weapon, which I have here recovered from the Moor. Come, guard the door without. Let him not pass, but kill him rather. I'll after that same villain, for 'tis a damned slave. So they exit, and then Othello says, I am not valiant neither, but every puny whipster, an insignificant person, gets my sword. But why should honour outlive honesty? Let it go all. Amelia says, What did thy song bode, lady? Hark, canst thou hear me? I will play the swan and die in music. And she sings the willow song, because swans were believed at the time of their death to sing. It's quite a well-known superstition, actually. Willow, 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 more she was chased, she loved thee, cruel more. So come to my soul, to blisses I speak true. So speaking, I think, alas, I die. And she dies. Othello says, I have another weapon in this chamber. It was a sword of Spain, the ice brook's temper, tempered in icy water. Oh, here it is. Uncle, I must come forth. Gratiano within. If thou art tempted, it will cost thee dear. Thou hast no weapon, and perforce must suffer. Othello says, look in upon me then, and speak with me, or naked as I am, I will assault thee. What is the matter? Behold, I have a weapon, a better never did itself sustain. Upon a soldier's thigh, I have seen the day that, with this little arm and this good sword, I have made my way through more impediments. Than 20 times you'll stop, but oh, vain boast! Who can control his fate? 'Tis not so now. Be not afraid, though you do see me weaponed. Here is my journey's end. Here is my goal. And very sea mark of my utmost sail. Do you go back dismayed? 'Tis a lost fear. Man but a rush against Othello's breast, and he retires. Where should Othello go? Then to Desdemona. Now, how dost thou look now, O ill-starred wench, pale as thy smock? When we shall meet at Judgment Day, this look of thine will hurl my soul from heaven, and fiends will snatch at it. Then he touches her. Cold, cold, my girl, even like thy chastity. O cursed, cursed slave! Whip me, ye devils, from the possession of this heavenly sight. Blow me about in winds, roast me in sulphur, wash me in steep down gulfs of liquid fire. O Desdemon, dead Desdemon, dead, oh, oh. So Lodovico, Montano, Iago, who was guarded by officers, and Cassio in the chair. Where is this rash and most unfortunate man? That's he that was Othello, here I am. Where is that viper? Bring the villain forth. I look down towards his feet, but that's a fable. To look for the devil, he looks at his feet to see if the devil's cloven foot is there, because they believe him to be a devil. To Iago, Othello says, if that be is the devil, I cannot kill me. He wounds him. So he can't kill him if he's a devil. He wounds Iago, and then Lodovico says, wrench his sword from him. Iago says, I bleed, sir, but not killed. Othello says, I am not sorry neither, I'd have thee live, for in my sense 'tis happiness to die. O thou Othello, that was once so good, fallen in the practice of a cursed slave, what shall be said to thee? Why, anything, as an honourable murderer, if you will, for naught I did in hate, but all in honour. This wretch hath part confessed his villainy. Did you and he consent in Cassio's death? Ay. Dear General, I never gave you cause, says Cassio. I do believe it, and I ask your pardon. Will you, I pray, demand that demi-devil why he hath thus ensnared my soul and body? Iago says, demand me nothing. What you know, and from this time forth I will never speak word. Lodovico to Iago says, what, not to pray? And then Gratiano says, torments will ope your lips. Othello says, well, thou dost best. Lodovico says, sir, you will understand what hath befallen, which as I think you know not. Here is a letter found in the pocket of the slain Roderigo, and here another. The one of them imports the death of Cassio to be undertook by Roderigo. Oh, villain! By most heathenish and most gross. Now, here's another discontented paper found in his pocket too, and this it seems Roderigo meant to have sent this damned villain, but that belike Iago in the interim came in and satisfied him. Othello says to Iago, "O thou pernicious caitiff wretch, how come you, Cassio, by that handkerchief that was my wife's? I found it in my chamber, and he himself confessed it, but even now, that there he dropped it for a special purpose which wrought to his desire. O fool, fool, fool!" There is besides in Roderigo's letter how he upbraids Iago, that he made him brave me upon the watch, whereon it came that I was dismissed. And even but now he spake after long seamen dead. Iago hurt him, Iago set him on. Lodovico says to Othello, "You must forsake this room and go with us. Your power and your command is taken off, and Cassio rules in Cyprus. For this slave, if there be any cunning cruelty that can torment him much and hold him long, it shall be his. You shall close prisoner rest, till that the nature of your fault be known to the Venetian state. Come, bring away." Othello says, "Soft you, a word or two before you go. I have done the state some service, and they know it. No more of that. I pray you, in your letters, when you shall have these unlucky deeds relate, speak of me as I am, nothing extenuate, nor set down aught in malice. Then you must speak of one that loved not wisely but too well, of one not easily jealous, but being wrought perplexed in the extreme, of one whose hand like the base Indian threw a pearl away richer than all his tribe, of one whose subdued eyes, albeit unused to the melting mood, drops tears as fast as the Arabian trees their medicinable gum. Set you down this, and say besides that in Aleppo once, where a malignant and a turbaned Turk beat a Venetian and traduced the state, I took by the throat the circumcised dog and smote him thus," and then he stabs himself. "Oh, bloody period! All that is spoke is marred." Othello says to Desdemona, "I kissed thee ere I killed thee. No way but this, killing myself to die upon a kiss." He dies, kissing Desdemona. "This I did fear, but thought he had no weapon, for he was great of heart." Lodovico to Iago, "O Spartan dog, more fell than anguish, hunger, or the sea, look on the tragic loading of this bed. This is thy work, the object poisons sight, let it be hid." And then they close the bed curtains. "Gratiano, keep the house, and seize upon the fortunes of the Moor, for they succeed on you." So Cassio says, "To you, Lord Governor, remains the censure of this hellish villain, the time, the place, the torture. Oh, enforce it. Myself will straight aboard, and to the state this heavy act with heavy heart relate." So that's quite an act. Othello kills Desdemona. Iago's found out, and Othello kills himself. So it's quite an amazing play. It's just incredible. Shakespeare certainly knows how to write a fantastic ending to a play. So that's all of Othello. I hope that you find this video to be of use. Be sure to join me next time for yet another Shakespeare play.